Hi everyone and welcome to KRYPTALK, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. Since my last episode on January 7th, Bitcoin has broken the $40,000 level, topped out at $42,000 and taken a 28% correction. So we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin price action over the last week, as well as having a look at the latest news. But the most important thing we're going to do today is I'm going to go through my Bitcoin price prediction for 2021. Let's get started. This is episode number 30, and the title of this episode is My Bitcoin Price Prediction for 2021. But before you do that, take a quick look at this. This is the KRYPTALK YouTube channel. If you're watching this video, go ahead and click the subscribe button and the bell notification icon and set it to all. That way, every time I upload a new episode, you'll get a notification and you can stay up to date with the latest Bitcoin price action and news. And a quick look at the charts. Okay, let's get the basics out of the way. This is the Kraken chart. These are all daily candles and Bitcoin is trading at $35,010. So like I said in the intro, in my last episode, episode number 29, that was filmed on the 7th of January, Bitcoin broke the $40,000 level that day before continuing to rally the next day on January 8 up to a new all-time high of $42,000. Since then, over the following days after that, it took a significant correction down to about $30,000, which was a minus 28% correction. Did I get scared? No. Did I panic? No. Did I go out and sell all my Bitcoin? No. Why? Because I've seen all this in 2017. Back in the 2017 bull run, or bubble if you want to call it that, these 30% corrections, these were common. We even had corrections more than 30%. So no, I didn't do that. Because the space is different now. Now we have a lot of adoption, a lot of mainstream interest, a lot of institutional adoption. These companies buying millions and millions worth of Bitcoin to use as a hedge against inflation. That didn't exist. But with all that being said, this minus 28% correction, this is the most significant correction we've seen so far in this bull run. So why am I not worried about this correction, this 28% correction? That's the biggest, most significant correction we've seen so far in this bull run. I have three reasons for you. The first reason is this green trend line that I spoke about in the last episode. So if you look down here, this green trend line was holding the price down. Bitcoin price went up, got a rejection off it, couldn't break through it. Second one here, got a rejection here, got a few rejections here and came back down again. Another rejection here before finally breaking through it on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas Day. So even if you take a look at this bearish candle that happened on the 4th of January, the price wicked down but didn't actually touch the green line. And again, similar here with this current correction, this minus 28% correction. So that's the first reason. It seems that previous resistance have turned to new support. So this green line here, which was once acting as resistance, seems to be supporting the price. Now we haven't had a real test of it yet, so don't know for sure, but that's what I'm thinking. The second reason I'm not that worried is because if you look at this, remember, this is the daily chart, and if you look at this EMA ribbon, so it's a collection of moving averages. Typically, if the price is above this, it's in an uptrend. If it's below, it's in a downtrend, and it actually spins. So what you want is that the yellow part of this is at the top and the red part's at the bottom. So if you look at what happened, even that correction, yeah, it came down, the wick touched it. So, but the main candle body didn't close within it. So we actually haven't had a close yet. The closest one is actually the one today so far. We haven't had a candle body close within the EMA ribbon. So it seems to have taken a bounce off the EMA ribbon, which is a good thing. And the third and final reason I'm not worried about this correction is because if you look at this, so if you just take a look at this wick, the lowest point of this minus 28% correction, this is still higher than this. Okay, this is still higher than this. What means is this is a low point. This is a low point, but if we go from here to here, even though these are both low points, this new low point is higher than this. So even after a 28% correction, we're still putting in consistently higher lows. And even if you look at where we are today, if this was to close roughly around here, this would still be a higher low. Now, before I go on and talk about the current Bitcoin price and where we might be potentially going within the short term, I just want to take one more look and give you another reason why this minus 28% correction we've just experienced was a good thing. So if you've been following the channel and if you've watched any of the last few episodes, you'll notice that I've spoke about the RSI. So the RSI is a number between 0 and 100. Typically when it's over 70, it's a sign that the Bitcoin price is overbought and due a correction. I literally said that in the last episode and a few other episodes prior. So if you take a look at this wave here, this trend line here I have down the bottom with the purple. The purple bit here represents basically 70%. So the top of this purple wedge here, top of this purple column or row, is 70% or 70. So over that, if the RSI is trending over 70, it's overbought. So it's been overbought or was overbought since Christmas Eve until about the 11th of January. It topped out there about like 90%, which is highly overbought. And I was saying that because it was overextended, because the RSI was too high, it was due a correction. So after the sell-off, like it's no coincidence, that's what happens. After the sell-off, then the RSI went down and it's back down like it is today, 55, which is healthy. So this correction, what it does is it shook out the weekend. So the people that might have FOMO'd in and not understood Bitcoin and, were delighted because they're making these thousands for the last few weeks and months, and then maybe they got a bit scared, took profit and just said, right, this isn't for me. Whereas people who are in it for the long term, the strong hands, are going to hold. We've seen this before, and we're going to kind of ride this up into like 100k plus. All right, so this is the Kraken 4-hourly chart. So switch to the 4-hourly chart. So all these candle bodies represent 4 hours of trading. You can see a different story. See if the EMA ribbon here, the Bitcoin price is trading under this, because just because the Bitcoin price is trading above the EMA ribbon on the daily doesn't mean it's going to be trading above the EMA on the 4-hourly or shorter time frames. So it's obviously in a bit of a downtrend at the moment in the short term. So I mean, what you have here, this triangle here, is a symmetrical triangle. And how that's formed is because you have a high point here, a lower high. So you got a point of contact here, here, and here. And then the support line, you have a point of contact here. And then you've got a low point, but it's a higher low. 2 points of contact here, I think, and another one here. So there's a few things that could happen here. I expect the price is going to, like, a breakout is pretty much imminent. But I expect it's probably going to trade something like this inside here before breaking down to the upside or to the downside. Now, given that the RSI has reset itself on the daily and it's quite low here on the 4-hourly, it's down to 43.29. That kind of has me leaning towards Bitcoin continuing to hit higher highs, which, I'm obviously going to lean towards, because you'll see if you keep watching this video and you watch my target is significantly higher than $35,000 for my target 2021. The only bit of warning I will give at the moment is that I am worried about this pattern here. So that's called a double top. So what you have is a high point and another high point, but the second high point is actually lower than the first, showing that it couldn't actually break up through that all-time high of $42,000. Now look, we've had them before and Bitcoin has kind of rallied on and just disregarded this, but double top would typically be a bearish pattern. But look, in summary, the RSI has been reset on the daily. That's healthy. The Bitcoin price has barely taken a bounce off the EMA on the daily, and we're consistently setting higher lows. So I'm still very, very bullish, and I do think that we're going to see higher prices. That's it for the charts for today. So that brings us to the main focus of this episode, my Bitcoin price prediction for 2021. Now, these are just my own thoughts and opinions based on my own research. So remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research and never ever invest more than you can afford to lose. Let's get started. What you're looking at here is data by glassnode.com. They do on-chain technical analysis. So on the x-axis here, we have just the years, time. And on the y-axis, we have the price in thousands of dollars. The grey trend line obviously is the Bitcoin price, and the kind of orange kind of wave or line here is the Bitcoin issuance. So what happens is every 4 years a halving takes place, one here in late 2012, one here 2016, one here 2020. What that means is the Bitcoin supply, the supply of newly minted or newly mined, should I say, coins is cut in half. So at the moment, the rate, the block reward is 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. So the miners are creating 6.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So a new block gets added to the Bitcoin blockchain every 10 minutes, and that 6.25 Bitcoins is the block reward. Before the halving in 2020, for the last 4 years, the block reward was twice that. So it was 12.5 Bitcoin. Before that, then it was twice that, and so on and so on. So I'm going to use this data to outline my price target for 2021. And the reason I'm saying it's going to happen in 2021, because all these like all-time highs, you see this point here and this point here, the new all-time highs, the kind of the top out from halving to halving usually occurs 18 months to 2 years after the halving itself. So if you look at the price, we're going to look at the price that the Bitcoin traded at the times of the halving. So the first halving in late 2012, on the day of the halving, Bitcoin was around $12. The top out, the highest point it reached between the first halving and the second halving was $1,134, which is a 95x increase. So 95 times this is roughly 1,134. At the second halving in 2016, Bitcoin was trading at $657. Then it topped out between that halving and the halving in 2020. It topped out in December 2017 at $19,587, which is a 30x. Now, the last halving, which took place last year in May, Bitcoin traded through the halving at $8,800. And based on the fact that here you had a 90x return, here you had a 30x return, I'm assuming that if this 30 is a third of 95, so if we just get even like a third of 30, which would be a 10x, so my Bitcoin price prediction is $88,000 by the end of the year. That's €72,835. That's a conservative estimate. People are estimating $100,000, $300,000. So that's my price target, $88,000 before the end of the year. All right, so the first kind of news article that I want to take a look at here, I had to take a look at this because when this happened during the week, or when this kind of story broke, about half a dozen friends and family started, WhatsApping me or texting me or linking me, tagging me on Facebook or whatever. So it kind of insisted that I cover it. So a man who accidentally threw out a Bitcoin fortune offers 70 million for permission to dig it up. So if he's offering 70 million, you can only imagine like how much the Bitcoin is actually worth. All right, so just delve a little deeper. So a British man who accidentally threw a hard drive loaded with Bitcoin into the trash has offered the local authority where he lives more than 70 million if it allows him to excavate a landfill site. IT worker James Howells got rid of the drive, which held a digital store of 7,500 Bitcoins. Between June and August 2013, he had originally mined the virtual currency 4 years earlier when it was little value. So Howells first discovered that the hard drive was missing when his Bitcoin was worth around 9 million. But based on current rates, he estimates it could be worth around 273 million. So that makes sense why he's offering 70 million to excavate it in the first place. And he told CNN, "I offered to donate 25% or £52.5 million to the city of Newport in order to distribute to all the local residents who live in support should I find and recover the Bitcoins." Well, that's one way to get the town on board. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up really. Like, look after your Bitcoin, protect your private keys, your 24-word recovery phrase, and if you're using the ledger, make sure that you have it stored safely and you have your 24-word recovery phrase stored safely. Which actually brings me on to another story. If you've been following the channel, you've heard me talk about this. This is what's called a cold storage wallet. It's the safest way of storing your Bitcoin and your cryptocurrency. Now, if you look at this site, or this is their site, they're saying, beware of ongoing phishing campaigns. Scammers are targeting Ledger customers. That's because the Ledger database was actually hacked. Now, this is the safest way of storing your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency at the moment. So the funds from the customer's funds, whoever bought one of these and they're storing Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies on them, the funds are okay. It is still the safest way of storing your cryptocurrencies in Bitcoin. However, there was a data breach. Now, I did report on this, I think over the summer when the hack actually happened. So Ledger's database was actually hacked. So what's happening now what we're seeing is the hackers who have this information. Now, the customers, like there's thousands, like a couple 100,000 Ledger customers. So if you order a Ledger, you have to go onto their site. These hackers know the name, address, telephone number, and email address of these customers, so that they know they have, they kind of put two and two together and imagine they probably have some sort of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. So what they're doing now is they're kind of sending, phishing text messages and emails and threatening emails, asking people to send their Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to certain addresses. Now, I'll just show you an example of some, because I'm no different. Like, a lot of people have got these messages. I'm no different. I've got some too. So this is an example of the type of email that the hackers who hacked the Ledger database are sending to customers and sending to Ledger customers, because like I said, they know their name, address, telephone number, and email address. So let's have a read through this. So, surprised to see your personal info here? Furthermore, you also happen to maintain enough crypto. I will share all that information and more with neighborhood bad guys in your area. Don't be concerned, not yet. But if I eventually do so, you are able to imagine all the possible consequences that can happen to you and your loved ones. Scary, right? But it doesn't need to be this way. I will provide you with a way out of this. Send me either 0.3 BTC to this address, or 10ETH to this address. Your private data will be erased and I'll leave you alone forever. If for any reason you fail to meet the demand in 24 hours, I will certainly move forward along with my plans, and whatever happens next will be on you. I hope you don't ruin every little thing for yourself by making the wrong choice. So this stuff, this is scary stuff. But like what I imagine happens here is this organization that have hacked all this data, they're basically trying to scam and threaten people and scare people into giving them crypto. Okay folks, that's the end of this episode. So if you've learned anything new or got any sort of value from this episode, go ahead and click on that like and subscribe button, and as usual, shlancha. Bye 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 bye.